How's it going? So with the Sevens rugby circuit about to kick off again, I thought I'd tell you about my favorite team in South Africa, and that's the blitzbokke, the Springbok Rugby Sevens team, who have just in fact won Team of the Year in South Africa. I've had to think about it, and I've chatted to a few people involved or around the side, and I've come up with 5 reasons why I think they are the market leaders in sport in South Africa, and hopefully continue to be so, and also how people can learn from them. So the first thing they've done is they've abandoned hierarchy as much as they possibly can. They've adopted an all hands on deck approach. In fact, I read a senior player, so to speak, talking recently about there's no one who carries bags in this team or does this or doesn't do this based on age. It's all about all hands on deck. We all muck in, and it's not about seniors and juniors and how many caps we've played. They've abandoned hierarchy. The second thing that I believe they've done really well, especially in South Africa, is they've celebrated difference. What a wonderfully diverse side it is in age, color, background, and I think they've really celebrated that and used that to their advantage. They've explored each other's backgrounds. They've learned a lot about themselves and about other cultures in the country just by celebrating that diversity. And I think it's rubbed off in the way they've played the game as well, in that they're not your typical kind of team. The third thing they've done, and I think they've done well, is they've developed a leadership core. Now, this is something that I've spoken about before that is very important. Not necessarily just are you a senior and therefore you get certain rights or things, but you get responsibilities based on the fact that you are a senior player or you've been around. And you're expected to impart that knowledge on the rest of the team and be the culture custodians, be the people who really manage that culture of the side. The fourth thing they do is they've made innovation their goal. Right from the days when Paul True was coach, they really have worked hard to innovate, think differently about the game. What are the little areas, what are the little ways we can improve ourselves and not just do the stock standard things that everyone else is doing? I remember they introduced the rolling maul into Sevens rugby, never seen before. This was just a small innovation that they'd used. But they really have worked hard to look at, mind you, from brain profiling to using them more, etc., to make sure that they were the best side and were staying as market leaders in the world of Sevens rugby. The fifth thing that they've done, though, is they know what their strengths are. I was fascinated to hear the story about how when they played against the Polynesian sides or the South Sea Asian sides, how they would make sure that they would be really physical. Even though the Fijians or the Samoans were bigger than them, they knew that their traditional strengths as South Africans were to be physical, to be direct, and stick to their structure, because South Africans like structure. That doesn't mean that they couldn't innovate and they couldn't do different things, but they knew what worked for them, or they know what works for them. So the 5 things that I think the blitzbokke got right, and I really hope with the introduction of new players and in this Olympic year, that they stick to the things that have really worked for them. No hierarchy in their side, keeping things really humble and flat structured, celebrating the difference and the diversity within the side, building a leadership core that acts as custodians of that culture, making sure that innovation is something that they're always on top of, always looking to do different things and trying different things and not being burdened by what's always been done. And the last thing is they know their strengths. They know South Africans like structure. They know we need to be direct in our style of play, and we stick to that, and we stick to that well. I really hope that the 7th team continues to do well and sticks to those principles that have worked for them. Thanks very much. Please make sure that you follow and share this video. Cheers.